Welcome to Kaohoon International Special. I am Adisa Asaprasert. Airports of Thailand, or the AOT, is undeniably one of the Thai travel companies hardest hit by the COVID-19 because since there are no incoming or outgoing flights, that means that both aeronautical and non-aeronautical revenue for AOT is almost zero. But today, with the border restrictions are lifted, which signifies hope for the recovery of Thailand's tourism industry. However, how will AOT, or the Airport of Thailand, will move forward in the post-pandemic era? Today, I've been honored by Mr. Kerati Kijmanawat, CEO of Airports of Thailand, to walk us through his vision for AOT's future.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Kerati. And thank you so much for providing this opportunity to talk to you in person. But first thing first, as AOT's new CEO, can you tell us the direction of how AOT will move forward in post-COVID era?
Yes, I think we have to admit that during the COVID pandemic, the entire aviation industry has been severely hit, and that affect not only AOT but also affect all of the relating businesses like the airlines as well as all the service provider. So during this time, we had gone through, let's say, the worst time in aviation history. And since this year, in 2023, we have seen a very remarkable recovery in terms of the number of passengers, as well as the number of cargo that's being delivered through airport. And in this year, by this time, this is about May, we have seen that the number of international passengers going through Suvarnabhumi Airport and all the other 6 airports under AOT has reached about 60% of the pre-pandemic level. And as for the domestic passenger, we have already reached 100% mark. So let's say if you ask me that if we have recovered, I'm saying that we are on a strong recovery road, and we expect that by the end of 2023, we should see 100% recovery in terms of both domestic and international passenger.
That means that by the year end, investors can expect a profit in AOT's performance?
Yes, we believe that our revenue, there is 2 sources, aero and non-aero. And both of them are very closely related to the number of international and domestic passenger, because of course for the aero revenue is directly related to the number of passengers we get, and for the non-aero it depends on how much they spend in our airport and related facilities. So we expect that by the end of this year, the spending per head and the number of passengers will reach the pre-pandemic level, and by 2024, next year, we should see that all the revenue, both aero and non-aero, come back to normalcy.
Right. May I ask, currently, what is the portion between aero and non-aero revenue?
Usually, before pandemic, the portion is about 55% to 45%.
And 55 is aero.
55 aero and 45% non-aero. And even during the COVID time, the same principle still hold. And even though we tried in various efforts to increase the non-aero revenue, but as long as we don't get the increase in number of passengers, the revenue doesn't increase that much. So I would say that the number of passengers going through our airport will be the key success factor in terms of bringing us back to business as usual.
I was going to ask you whether there will be an adjustment on the aero and non-aero portion, but listening from what you said, the key factor to determine is the numbers of passengers coming into Thailand. I've seen in many other countries, their non-aero revenue is more than the aero. Why is that, and can we actually do like them?
We have tried many activities during the pandemic time, and we have seen a success in terms of growth in revenue from cargo. We have established our subsidiary company called AOT TO Auto.
AOT
TO, yeah. And for Auto, their main agenda is to bring cargo business into the mix. And they have achieved quite a remarkable growth in the past 2 years. And we are hoping that the revenue we get from cargo will be one of the key drive in terms of the non-aero revenue. And apart from that, within this 2023 coming 2024, we'll call for investment for our land that has been developed in Suvarnabhumi. For example, we have the area called Wat Siwari Noi, which is about 400 rai, and those areas are prime area for logistic park and the non-aero cargo and related cargo businesses. And we believe that by developing these area, we can achieve the revenue from the cargo business more.
Okay, so basically in order to drive up the non-aero revenue, for the time being is to drive up cargo, investments in the cargo related area.
Right.
Now, having that numbers of passengers are increasing to almost pre-pandemic level, will the current capacity and capability of Suvarnabhumi be enough to provide service for incoming passengers?
Yes, that's a very good question, because one of the key issues for us is to provide a good service to passengers. And we have seen that even though the facility, our facility in Suvarnabhumi remains the same as the pre-pandemic level, but our partner, for example, the airlines and the ground service provider, has reduced their capacity. And that greatly affects the ability for us to accept the same number of passengers as before. And as you have seen that in the airport now, we experiencing some of the delays and some of the congestion in terms of the passenger. So we are now introducing new technologies like self-check-in system and self-backdrop system to try to alleviate the congestion and help our airline partners where they are most vulnerable at the moment. We also try to put in other new technologies, for example, increase the automatic channel for the immigration to give the passenger experience as smooth as possible in terms of passing through our airport.
Okay. Now, I've also heard about the plan to develop the entertainment and retail complex, the mixed-use complex in Suvarnabhumi Airport. I wonder what potential does the AOT committee see in coming up with the project, and how much funding has been set aside?
For that, we also look at the same area, the Wat Siwari Noi and the other vacant land that we have in Suvarnabhumi, and we want to proceed to find the investor in terms of co-investment with us for the entertainment complex, as well as maybe the related tax-free shopping, for example.
Tax-free shopping.
And that will increase the commercial revenue that we can receive, and also give the passenger more area that they can spend around Suvarnabhumi before they fly. Let's say, I think our major investment goal now is not the entertainment complex, but rather the logistic part and the related agricultural businesses that we are now under the market sounding process. And after that, after we've done our market sounding, we will know who are the potential investors, what kind of business that they would like to invest. So by the end of this year, we'll have a clearer plan on how to divide the investment package and invite the investor accordingly.
And on the issue of the 3 airports that will be transferred to be managed under AOT, how do you plan to develop those 3 airports, especially Krabi, which is already considered profitable?
Yes, we have received the cabinet approval in accepting 3 new airports from the Department of Aviation. So that will include Krabi and Udon and Buriram Airport. And for Krabi, it will be one of the key issues for us in terms of the alleviating the capacity constraint, because our Phuket airport is limited by the number of runway. We only have 1 runway in Phuket, and that cannot be expanded any further. So we are bound by about 20 million passengers per year in Phuket, and that after we develop more terminal area, we cannot go any further. So the acceptance of Krabi Airport as our new international gateway will help to become a dual exitway for Andaman area. So in terms of Krabi, it will be the key component in our Southern Development Program. As for Udon and Buriram, that will open international gateway in the northeastern part, which we haven't had before. We have the north, which is Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai. For the south, we will have Krabi, Phuket, and Hat Yai. But northeastern, AOT doesn't have gateway before. So the accepting of Udon and Buriram will become a dual international gateway in the northeastern area.
And last questions regarding the Don Mueang International Airport. Can you tell us about the phase 3 of Don Mueang Airport? What changes will be made?
For the phase 3 of Don Mueang Airport, we have already received the go-ahead from the cabinet to invest about 36 billion baht in terms of the new international terminal. The package will include 3 major components. First one will be the new international terminal, which is consists of about 150,000 square meter. That will attract about maybe 15 million passengers per year for the international passenger. And for the package 2 will be the redevelopment of Terminal 1 and Terminal 2 as one big domestic terminal. So we will, after we relocate the international terminal passenger to the new Terminal 3, we will close down Terminal 1, which is the international terminal at the moment, and redevelop into new domestic terminal. And then package 3 will be all of the relating infrastructure, such as the roadway, as well as the flyover connecting to the Don Mueang Tollway. So by the development of Don Mueang phase 3, we will solve not only in terms of the number of international passengers that we can receive, but also the domestic passenger as well as the relating infrastructure.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.